So Jez, we're approaching the halfway point of the season now. Just give us your assessment up to this point, really.
Well, I think it's the season so far has shown the massive ups and downs in football. Obviously, we started the season in a disappointing fashion, or a difficult fashion, let's say. And I guess that when we went to Newport, 3 points from 8 games, and got to half time there, if you'd said to people then at that point, the run that we've been on since, they wouldn't have believed you. But I think it's important lessons that you learn in every situation, and there's pressure obviously from outside the football club to make certain decisions at that time. But when you're inside the club, you know the processes and you know the way that the football department is being led. And we knew that coming out of August, there was a couple of additions we needed to strengthen the squad, and we managed to get Brad Halliday and Uche Piazzu, and obviously both of them have made a massive impact. But equally, there's fine lines between winning and losing football matches, and if the processes are right over a period of time, if you can address one or two issues that get identified, the fine lines flip the other side, and you start winning matches and you gain momentum and you gain confidence. And I think that's been the story. So I think, what have we got, 28 points I think from 13 games, which is an incredible run. It's like title winning run, that. And if you'd said that at half time at Newport, when we're staring down the barrel a little bit, that we'd be sitting here now 7th position in the league, in the playoff positions, and in the third round of the FA Cup, not many would have believed you. But that's the joy of football, it can change quickly.
You touched upon the FA Cup just there at the heart of this sort of upturn in results. It's been an exciting run already into this competition. Yeah,
and cup runs always have to start somewhere, and the first game in this year's competition was a tough one because Dover are a dangerous side, and we all know that. But when you play a team from the league below at home, especially when at the time our home record wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, and we're in a difficult moment, it was a tough afternoon for everybody. But we stayed in the competition, and that's the key, being the hat for the next round. And then the last minute goal by Robbo at Dover, but it wasn't. I don't think it was just the result of Dover. I think it was the way it was achieved. I thought we were excellent in the game, really tough ask, responded well, but the squad showed the togetherness and the character that's been obvious in the last few weeks, and it's something that was obvious to us even at the start of the season. You know, the respect and the togetherness from Sean and Joe and the staff that the players have, and that spirit. Maybe everybody doesn't appreciate it when you're losing matches, but it was there for everybody to see at Dover. And the way that we stayed in the competition with the last minute goal, I think that created some momentum for us, to be honest. And we took that into the Wycombe game, and the fact that the game had been pushed back a couple of nights for TV, I think meant there was a real understanding in the stadium against Wycombe. And I thought that was a turning point as well, the way we performed. And even though the result wasn't what we wanted, the players got a standing ovation off the pitch. That led to the result in Notts County, that led to the 3 goals against Cheltenham, that led to the 4 goals against Coventry. And that's football, it's momentum created, and I think the Dover game did that as much as any this season, to be honest. And let's be honest as well, we every club at our level loves a run in the FA Cup because it adds profile to the club. The fact that the next game's live on television means Cambridge United is in the public domain again nationally, and it also means some always well received additional bonus income.
I just touched upon there that the competition obviously brings its own financial rewards, and as you head into the month of January, you also give us a little bit of an idea in terms of the process regarding the transfer policy at the club. Yeah,
I mean, firstly, we're financially stable, and that's regardless of the FA Cup, and the benefit that gives the club is that we've obviously got, I would say, a number of players that could potentially be sought after by other clubs, and it means that the position of the club is one that's a real strong position, that we don't have to do any business we don't want to do. We're really ambitious. We want to do as well as we can this season and in the seasons ahead. We know that the only way you ever go up levels is to have players capable of taking you there. So we want to hold on to our best young players and our best players in the squad. And by being stable financially, it means we can do that. So that's the most important thing, that we can strengthen without ever weakening. And then January's difficult, but the process started, Tom, whenever Ben's reappointment was made, because whilst his long-term role at the club is head of football operations, his short-term focus has been the recruitment that we're going to do in January. So him and Mark Tracy have watched a lot of games. There's an ongoing process, as Sean said in the press, between all the staff in terms of potential targets. And then there's an ongoing dialogue between myself and the board about the potential funds that could be available in January to strengthen not just the playing squad, but other things off the pitch around the football department as well. The infrastructures and the staff and the training ground, because it's important that we build beyond just this season. I think it's a really important point, that whatever the budget is this year, it's predicated on losing in the first round of every cup competition. So this bonus income needs to be spent wisely, and we need to get the right level of expenditure. But just as importantly, we need to spend it on the right players. So it's one thing to allocate some funds towards strengthening the team, but that's contingent on finding the right players to strengthen a group that's took 28 points from the last 13 games. So again, we do that from a position of strength. And that's the philosophy of the club, sustainability, and making sure that if we do something now this season, we can do it again next season. And it's important that we set our playing budget against our incomes. Those incomes are based on losing in the first round of every cup competition. So we don't want to suddenly increase our playing budget beyond what we can expect to achieve next year based on the growth of the club. So lots to consider, but ongoing discussions, and Sean's obviously central to that. And we'll make sure that hopefully come January we can add to the squad. We can really look forward to the second half of the season with confidence, and we can go into that Leeds game with the momentum that we're going into Christmas.